Welcome to another follow-up Friday. Promised you last week a little bit of a rant this week, so I'm probably going to start my rant in a moment. But in terms of the follow-ups, we speak every week about doing different ways of following up, from sending people things, from telephone calls, from emails, e-newsletters, LinkedIn. Been talking through all of those, and I'm going to keep bringing you those each week because I think it's really important, particularly now as we're seeing a change coming out of COVID. Hopefully we start to see that change, and again we're going to have some physical meetings coming along at this time. But I also think as well we need to just prioritise where we are in the sales cycle, and also appreciate over the last 14 months that there are lots of different ways that you can sell, and of course Zoom meetings is one of those. And I think if you look at that, I think more and more people will now be accepting of those types of meetings as well, both from an environmental point of view and from a time point of view as well. So do remember those and think about different ways. We don't have to slip back to the way that we were. We can work at things in a very, very different way. So I thought today I'm going to share my rant. I really am. And I've been doing a lot of research on this in the last week because for me, I'm passionate about sales, and I think anybody watching this knows that I'm passionate about sales. It's my background, it's what I know, and I know a lot about people and I know a lot about sales. But when you look at sales and when you look at a business, there are lots of different things that are involved in a business. You obviously need to have the product, but from that point you need to be able to sell it, you need to be able to tell people about it. And the thing that annoys me and the things that have been really frustrating me recently is, how do you get that next generation of salespeople? Where are they? Where are we going to find them? Where are they being trained and developed? So I did a Google. I thought, right, let's just do a Google here in the UK. So let's have a look in the UK. Let's do a Google on sales training degrees or sales degrees. Can I find a degree to do with sales? So I put something in, I found one or two searches, and there are a handful. And when I say there are a handful, I mean there are a handful. But actually, when you delve underneath them and you look at one or two of the universities doing these sales degrees, it's actually predominance of marketing. Now, I'm not saying that marketing isn't important. Of course it is. Sales and marketing a lot of the time come together. But salespeople getting a sale, closing the sale, particularly in a B2B setting and in terms of bigger ticket selling, is really vital and really, really important. Because it's so important, we need to be able to make sure that we have the right skills in place and the right tools for people to do. And in my frustration and in my rant, and my business partner is involved in accounting. He's doing bookkeeping, he's doing accounting, he's doing forensic accounting, he's going into all sorts of things. And if you want to become an accountant, there are lots of different ways to do it. Lots of different degrees, lots of different qualifications that you can get. But sales is still Wild West. There's still not that level of this is the path you follow. A lot of people will fall into sales because people go, I'll go and do sales because you can talk to people. But again, that's wrong. Sales to me is a skill, and it also is a career. You can earn really good money in sales. But actually, how many of those salespeople have been trained through an education point of view? Very, very few. You will be trained through the companies you work in. You'll go and read things, you'll find out things. If you really want to sell and you want to make some really good money, you'll find out the best ways to sell. You'll find information, you'll look at videos, you'll look at courses. But actually, there's very little there that's in the educational system. And people are not saying, you should look at sales, you could be really good at sales. People are saying, you could be an engineer, you're fantastic in engineering. And that's fantastic. You can go down an engineering route, and it's very clear the route that you can follow. But for sales, there isn't. And I really think that if you've got good salespeople, you should invest in them, invest in training, you should have a training plan. But let's look outside of that. Let's look to education as well. That businesses don't survive without sales. Marketing is great, and as I've said before, I'm not decrying marketing, and there's lots of different ways for marketing, and digital marketing is there, and of course it is, and that's bringing in people to websites, etc. But closing sales, the sales process, following up, which we talk about every single Friday, those things are not spoken about. You don't see sales processes within a degree. You see a degree talking about branding and marketing. sales management, account management, it doesn't talk about the fundamentals of sales, the different types of sales that there are. So I'm really starting to say, and I'm banging the drum a little bit more, there should be more provision for sales. Education should look more, particularly at a degree level, getting a degree in sales, understanding sales. And of course there's no substitute for being out there and actually selling it and being part of it, but you could start to accelerate that one. And there's lots and lots of sales jobs, and all these sales jobs are looking for people with experience. Where do you get the experience? Where do you get the education if it's not there? Now, my background in call centres particularly, and also in direct sales, but if I look in call centres, you have lots of students come through the call centres, they're using it as a part-time job, they're thrown in, they're starting to do it. Some of those will probably want to become salespeople, but there isn't a route, and it's such a mishmash. So for me, probably my rant is over, but I'm actually saying let's look at how sales is perceived, and that sales is a proper career. And in terms of that, education should look to sales courses, degree courses that give people the tools to be the next generation of super salespeople. So, rant over. Really hope you enjoyed today. Just thought-provoking, and think about if you're a salesperson, you're doing really well. But also just remember, go and do those follow-ups now in the next week. And when we come to next Friday, I'll be back on topic, back on talking about how you can follow up for better results in your business.